Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla. You can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Sedici Alexi mesh jacket and pants available at RevZilla.com. So ultimately, the Alexi, which comes in a few different colors, comes in around the $200 mark. And you're looking at mesh and textile, and mesh and textile. This is a 2 to 3 season sport touring, sport commuting look. It takes an inspiration from more of a European style, and there are a few things that the Alexi does really right. The first one, 1200D in your impact areas. Elbow and shoulder. It's beefed up. The second one is that you're going to have big mesh panels, chest and back, and on the legs of the pants that are going to flow a tremendous amount of air. The third thing that we think really stands and shines when you look at a $200 price point for a jacket is that ultimately you have CE level 2 molecular armor that comes stock. Elbows, shoulders, you can upgrade the back. Typically, we don't see a ton of jackets under the $250 mark, especially not mesh jackets there, that are going to come with molecular armor. In my opinion, that's one of the huge selling points if you invest here. And one of my small gripes when we think about the seasonality factor, really you're going for that 2 to 3 season, is the fact that the liners are non-interchangeable. So I have my thermal, it bakes into my waterproof, and the waterproof liner bakes into the outer shell. There's no way to use just the thermal without actually having the waterproof baked in. It's just a flexibility issue. It's something that we like to see, but at the $200 mark, they're making an economic choice to put things together, give you that additional functionality, and that's why we don't call it true 3 or 4 season. And ultimately, we don't call it true 3 or 4 season either, because when you have that much mesh exposed, you can't really turn all the air conditioning off. When it gets really cold, this isn't going to be the best option. Now, that was one of my nitpicks. The other thing I'll tell you about this jacket, if I look at it, is that there's no, when I turn him backwards, there's not going to be any accordion stretch on the back. And again, that's a little bit more nuanced. It's one of those trade-offs that you make to be able to hit a price point. The biggest thing before I go into sizing, though, that's going to stand out to you is this is the silver black version. There's also a black version. And what they've done here is, in true European inspiration, they've gone kind of contrast stitch and logo crazy. And this is really, if it matters to you or it may not matter to you, to me, it gets a little busy. Air control system, ACS, lots of contrast stitching, lots of big white distraction pieces, and when it's black on black, they pop even more. That's a decision that you have to make if you're looking at the style aspect of it, but ultimately, bang for the buck from a functional standpoint. I love seeing 1200D in your impact areas, and I love seeing CE level 2 armor show up at the $200 mark. That is a really nice touch. Now, quick note on Fitment. I have Joey Z to my left. He's 170 pounds. He's 5'8". 38 is his chest measurement. He's actually wearing a size medium. Now, if he uses a size chart for the jacket, it's going to put him in a small. That's too small. This jacket fits about a size, half size to a full size small compared to the size chart. So do your measurement, look at the size chart, and probably go up to the next size. With the liners in, if he was wearing a small, he would not have enough room to move, and that's when that big lack of accordion stretch panel at the shoulder blades begins to come into play. Now, the pants were a little bit more spot on. He wears a 32 of jeans, 30-inch inseam. He's wearing a size 32. No issues there. And you can see it's still a mixture of textile. It's a mixture of mesh on the front. You do have that CE level 1 armor that is removable, but it's not going to be adjustable. Keep that in mind. Again, they're only $150 pant though, so that's where you get that bang for the buck factor, or that won't break the bank, but you have to make some trade-offs if you go down that road. Now, we'll ship it free over 39 bucks, and I'd love if you click our logo, subscribe to RevZilla on our YouTube channel, leave me your comments, your questions, your feedback on the Alexi. I'd love to hear your experience with it or what you see out of the gates. Now, diving back into some more of the nuance. I do have neoprene at the collar, and you have extra neoprene that's going to protect my Adam's apple. I do think this is an awfully big swath of micro Velcro on the male side of things, poking out from there. I'd love to see this smaller and a little bit more thin, less chance that it's going to bite you in the neck. Ultimately, the inside of this too, there's no Velcro piece that allows me to loop this back. But again, that's what the collar could absolutely be improved. Moving down, I have a few sneaky vents that are built in here. I have a vent on the side of the chest. I have a vent on the bicep of the arm. And when Joe turns backwards, not yet there, Joe, you're going to see that I have back vents as well. Tons of mesh, but also in areas that aren't mesh, like the upper arm, they're giving you the ability to increase the airflow and really optimize for summertime riding. Moving down, basic hand warmer pockets. You notice it's a big, nice, beefy zipper pull, easy to find with a gloved hand. Now, before I turn you that way, or turn away from me, notice there is reflective bake in here too. In a few of the Sedici products that I've seen, they've been minimal on the reflective side. It's nice to see this working in and increasing the safety rating. Turn the face that way for me. If we look, You have accordion stretch, top of the shoulder. You have this Dobby material, and there's going to be my CE Level 2 armor, CE Level 2 armor. I even have a TPR that looks like it's vented on the top side of the elbow accordion panel right there. And there's going to be on the back side of the arm additional vents as well. So you have 4 vents on the front, and I have 4 vents actually on the back here. So 8 total vents on a textile mesh jacket for optimal airflow. And if he raises his arm like that, you're gonna see I do have the ability to cinch this guy down towards the bottom, and I do have a drop seat here as well. Backwards for me there, Joe. If he turns fully to the back, Sedici logo blacked out. It's nice, all this contrast stitching. It's nice they went blacked out embroidery here. Big pop of reflective. I have some TPR, and I work my way down. There's my big back fence there as well. Looking at the seat of the pants, or the seat of the pants themselves, you'll notice you do have that Dobby material working its way in, a lighter textile towards the bottom, and you do have a mesh area. So again, the pant is going to be ventilated, and on the lateral side or outsides of the pants, you do have a zip that's going to give you the ability to open up a flap there as well. Come back around to the front. Let's open up the guts. If you open it up, remember, one of my gripes was the fact that it's a fully integrated liner, and that means waterproof and thermal together. I love that they gave you this big Velcroed back flap to come over here and make sure no air gets through the middle. Notice that's how simply it zips out. Mesh on the inside, 360-degree zip for the pants. You do have a softer material up here towards the collar. Now, when we get into our base level of waterproofing, remember, you're not at the Gore-Tex level, you're not even mid-level. This is a base level of breathability just to cover you from Mother Nature in a pinch. And we talked about the integration of this thermal and the waterproofing. And ultimately, when we look at it, I can remove my thermal layer on its own and be left with just the waterproofing aspect of the jacket. Earlier on, I may have mentioned that they're fully integrated. They're actually able to be separated, but what I can't do is just use the thermal if I don't want to put in the waterproofing element or the windproofing element. So there's no interchange factor, but you do have the ability to turn off your heat and if you just want to keep the waterproofing, which is a nice touch. And the inside, cell phone pocket, circumferential zipper that goes up and around. Joe, pull that flap open just so you can see the inside here. And on the inside of your waterproof, it's actually nice that it's going to be finished with mesh. I know that looks a little sloppy because you're typically never going to wear it that way, but what you can see is the fact that you do have this circumferential zipper, you have that basic mesh. Again, the mesh gives you the ability to perspire, it gets wicked away, it gets closer to that outer coating and evaporates off. And before you close it down, notice no need for belt loops here either. It's a self-cincher up here on both sides of the waist and the way this finishes. And again, you can certainly see it with the contrast stitching, but angled thigh pockets and no need for a belt there. So go ahead and zip that bad boy up. So all in at the $200 mark. Remember, you're getting 2 to 3 season, really hot weather focused functionality. You're getting beefed up materials in your impact zones. The biggest drawback, which is really your choice, is outside of the fact that they can improve the collar, is really how much contrast stitching and how much logoing is too much for you. For those of you in Europe that are looking, I'm sure you're gonna love it. Here in the States, that seems to be a hotly debated type of item. The next step in your journey is click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com. Read other rider reviews. You should not just take our word for it. As always, we'll ship free over $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. It's up to date with our opinion of the latest and greatest in the motor universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.